guys, so today it's been a little while since I did a commentary. I've actually been away for a week or so camping with some friends, so it's been a nice little break. But today I am back and I want to talk to you guys about Gamescom 2014. Now, as of today, we are only 1 week away from the launch of the event. Of course, it's probably the biggest gaming event outside of E3 and probably the biggest gaming event inside Europe. So it's a very exciting event. It's a gaming event that a lot of people are looking forward to. And today I want to talk about some of the games we can expect to see at Gamescom and some of the stuff I'm really looking forward to. Now, before we jump in, I have a quick giveaway to announce. I'm pretty excited about this one. Any of the games I mention in today's video will actually be up for grabs later on this year. So if you would like a chance to win any of the games I discussed today, all you have to do is leave a like on the video and tell me down in the comments below which game you're looking forward to seeing the most at Gamescom this year. Now, of course, at Gamescom, we do rarely ever see something brand new that we haven't seen before. Of course, usually the new games we can expect to see in the next 12 months to 2-year period are usually showed off for the first time at E3 earlier in the year. But all the same, we do get to see new levels, new ideas for the games, new expansions on what we can expect to see when a full title is released. So the first game that I want to talk to you guys about today is Far Cry 4. Now, this is a game that was first showed off at E3 earlier this year. The likes of Jack Frags and Vicstar, who actually went across to E3, did get a chance to play and record some gameplay. Now, of course, at Gamescom, we're not sure yet whether these games are going to be actually playable on the event floor or whether they're just going to be demos. But either way, Far Cry 4 is a game I'm definitely looking forward to. Now, of course, this is a Ubisoft Montreal title, and it is made using the Crytek engine, the same engine we see with the likes of Crysis 3 and Crysis 2. So we always know that Far Cry is going to be a very good-looking game. Now, I have been a big fan of the Far Cry series. I played the first Far Cry on a friend's computer, I then had Far Cry 2 on PlayStation 3, and I have to admit that probably wasn't the best game I've ever played. There were a lot of AI issues, a lot of AI bugs, so that game was a little bit of a letdown. So of course, when Far Cry 3 was announced, at first I wasn't that excited. But when that game was released, I think we all know how successful and how good looking that game truly was. So with Far Cry 4 just around the corner, this is definitely a game I am getting very excited for. Hopefully at Gamescom we will see more of the single player, showing off this new environment in the Himalaya mountains, and maybe we will see some of the multiplayer. Of course, Far Cry isn't a game really based on its multiplayer, but that said, the multiplayer in Far Cry 3 was pretty fun and it was pretty successful. So hopefully with Far Cry 4, they may have built on that a little bit and made it even better. Now, of course, Far Cry 3 was a game I actually did play on my channel. This is, of course, nearly 2 years ago now, but if you would like to see Far Cry 4 on the channel once it is released, tell me down in the comments below. Now, moving on to something completely different, Alien Isolation. Now, this is certainly a very different game style that you usually don't see me discuss or play. Now, at first, this was a game I had very little interest in. Of course, I think we all know that the Alien games of the past have been plagued with just being, well, not very good. Of course, the previous title, Aliens Colonial Marines, was, in the end, a massive flop. So when a new Alien title is announced, Alien Isolation, you can see why a lot of people weren't very excited. Of course, with that said, this game is being developed by a completely different team and is a completely different style of game, but it is very hard to shake that bad name surrounding Alien titles. Now, earlier this year, I visited EGX Birmingham, and I actually got the opportunity to play this game, and I have to tell you, it absolutely blew me away. This is like no other Alien game we've seen before. Instead of running and gunning your way through hordes of aliens, there's in fact just one alien throughout the entire single player. So it has a very similar feel to the original Ridley Scott film. Now, the game itself is actually set at the end of the first movie. You play the character Amanda Ripley, Ella Ripley's daughter, and you actually come back to the spaceship Nostromo to try and find out what happened to your mother. So the game itself is set in the exact same sets and locations that we saw in the original movie, and actually still uses some of the same scores and music, so it does have a very authentic Alien feel. Now, the gameplay itself does feel very refreshing. As I said, throughout the entire game, you are just up against one main alien, and as the game progresses, the alien actually gets smarter. When I got a chance to speak to one of the devs, they gave me an example that at the start of the game, if you throw a flare, it will actually distract the alien and he may run off towards where the flare is, giving you a chance to escape. But if you keep using that technique, eventually when you throw the flare, the alien will actually then look to where the flare was thrown from, and it may actually draw it to your position. So the alien gets smarter as the game goes on, so over time you have to learn and use new tactics. So the game itself has a nice feeling, a mixture of maybe the original Dead Space title as you're moving around inside this big empty spaceship, trying to find parts you may need to open doors or turn the power back on, but it also has a very strong feeling of maybe Outlast or Slender as you're creeping around in these very dark, gloomy spaces, trying to avoid being detected. So this is definitely a game I'm very much looking forward to, and again, if it is something you would like to see me play on the channel, tell me down in the comments below. Now finally today, a game I think you all know I'm very excited to see more of at Gamescom is of course Battlefield Hardline. Now currently I am under NDA to tell you guys what you can expect to see at Gamescom. I know roughly what they are going to be showing you guys, and trust me, it is going to be very exciting. Of course, when we went across to San Francisco to play this game earlier this year, we got to play a whole range of different maps and game modes, a lot of which you haven't yet seen. Of course, in the beta, we had 2 game modes and only 1 map. Now we are still under NDA, I can't tell you guys anything about those new game modes and new map that you haven't seen yet, but hopefully a lot of that may be on show at Gamescom later this year, so Battlefield Hardline is definitely still one to look out for. So that wraps up the 3 main games I'm looking forward to seeing more of at Gamescom this year. Of course, there is going to be a huge list of games on display, so if you aren't lucky enough to be heading across to the event, make sure you catch up with it all on one of the live streams. It all kicks off next Thursday on the 14th of August, and it wraps up on Sunday the 17th, so we have a lot to look forward to. And of course, if you guys did enjoy this video, a like is always appreciated, and tell me down in the comments below which games you're looking forward to seeing the most as well. But in the meantime guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.